What's going on, everyone? I'm going to give you my brief review and thoughts on what I thought about each team's performance in Week 1 for the 2022 NFL season. And let me be the first to say, I know a lot of you out there know this. There was a ton of shockers Week 1. I lost more than half of my football picks for my predictions for Week 1. I cannot believe who won what games. So, anyways, here's the bag of NFL teams. We're going to dump them out right here. And I'm just going to grab a team, and I'm going to briefly tell you my thoughts on how that team performed Week 1. We're going to start it off here. New York Jets, they don't have Zach Wilson. They got Joe Flacco. I know Flacco's not going to be their permanent starter. They're going to wait until Wilson gets back from his injury. The Jets still look like the same old Jets that we've seen in the past. They need to do something. Steelers, they got super lucky in their win against the Bengals. They should have lost it along with Cincinnati. They deserve to lose after how they performed in overtime and trying to get the game winner. Now, to be fair, they did get their extra point blocked for the win in the final seconds of regulation. So, to be fair, Pittsburgh should have won it the first attempt in overtime, but in the end, Pittsburgh got lucky and was able to get that game-winning field goal. The Miami Dolphins, they got Tyreek Hill. I've noticed something about Tua. He doesn't like to scramble himself. He looks for somebody close to give the ball to scramble. So unless Tua becomes a runner, I don't know how much Tyreek is going to be his reliability. Cincinnati Bengals, I just talked about how they got their extra point game-winning kick blocked against the Steelers in their Week 1 game. They lost in overtime. Burrow threw 3 interceptions, not good. So the Bengals should work on Joe Burrow. The Ravens looked pretty good. They defeated the Jets, but, it is the Jets. And, see what happens. They just lost Kyle Fuller, I believe, to an ACL tear, unfortunately. So hopefully he, or they can find somebody good to replace him till next season if they decide to keep him on the team. Cleveland Browns, they got lucky. Again, they should have lost to the Carolina Panthers, but the Panthers' offensive line and the defense, they're not up to it. But the Browns got lucky. Jacoby Brissett, surprisingly, 1-0 for Cleveland. Minnesota Vikings, oh my God. I had Green Bay locked that they would beat the Minnesota Vikings, but Devontae Adams isn't a Packer anymore, and the Vikings opened up on Green Bay, and they are first place in the NFC North right now. So Green Bay could be in trouble. That is, unless like I said, Week 1's all crazy. You never know. The Bills exceeded my expectations on how they played against the Los Angeles Rams. A 21-point victory. They won 31-10. They look like the true number 1 team in the NFL that they should be. And their home opener is next Monday, September 19th, against the Tennessee Titans. So that should be another win. New England Patriots, they played the Dolphins. I should also mention with the Dolphins that when they played the Patriots, both of their defenses looked terrible. So New England's defense and Miami's defense, they looked about even in that game. So I don't know. I guess it was just a better performance by Tua and Miami that got the better of New England. New England very well could have won that game, but their defense gave it away. Green Bay, God, Green Bay needs receivers. That's all I have to say. Green Bay, if they can get a new receiver, someone who can't drop passes on deep, perfect passes from Aaron Rodgers, they'll have a shot. But like I said, Devontae Adams isn't with Green Bay anymore. He was the guy for Rodgers who got them down to the goal line to score all those touchdowns and wins. I don't know. Green Bay, we'll see. They need a receiver. Detroit looked pretty good this year. They almost came back and beat the Philadelphia Eagles. They lost 35-38. Detroit really looked really impressive. Hopefully they can get at least, 6 or 7 wins this season. I don't know if they're a wild card or a playoff team yet, but they're definitely improving. And if they can keep scoring those points like how they did against the Eagles, hey, the Lions could be a team to watch this season. Chicago Bears got lucky in a rain game against the San Francisco 49ers. Trey Lance didn't get his win in his debut as a starter, full-time starter, I should say, since they are not going with Jimmy Garoppolo anymore. The Bears are 1-0. They take out the San Francisco 49ers. New York Giants, oh my God. No one would have thought the Giants would have beat the Titans in Tennessee, but Brian Daboll, the former Bills offensive coordinator, who's the new head coach for the New York Giants, decided to go with some gutsy calls, and in the end, a 2-point conversion is all they needed, and they won. The Giants defeat the Titans thanks to a missed field goal for the Titans to try and win it. The only team right now that I'm actually scared of for the Bills is still the Kansas City Chiefs, as they dominated the Arizona Cardinals and won like 44-22 it was, I think. But, yeah, KC, even without Tyreek Hill, they're still a problem. They're definitely top 1 and 2 teams in the NFL right now are the Chiefs and the Bills. The Chargers looked really good this season with a beefed-up defense. They took out the Las Vegas Raiders in a revenge game after they lost Week 17 last season for whoever wins gets into the playoffs, and the Raiders beat the Chargers to get in that wild card spot. So the Chargers are obviously on a revenge tour for that, and I think they do have a good shot this season at getting a wild card shot. If not, hey, I don't know if they can beat Kansas City Thursday night and possibly win the division. That would probably be the biggest shocker for the AFC West if the Chargers win that, because I'm still locked on the Chiefs. Houston Texans tied with the Indianapolis Colts. Davis Mills played pretty well. I'm not going to lie. The Texans looked pretty good. They got O.J. Howard, former Bill, who was on them with the practice squad this season in the preseason, but ultimately didn't make the roster due to the final roster cuts. Jerry Hughes is also with the Houston Texans. He was a longtime Bill. I don't know, man. Houston tied Indianapolis. That's, I guess, all you need to know. San Francisco, obviously, it could have just been the weather, but they lost to Chicago in Chicago, and I don't know. I got to see them play in a non-rain game. Los Angeles Rams obviously got crushed by the Bills. The Super Bowl champions getting beat by 21 points in the same building that you just won the Super Bowl in. That's rough, but they're going to probably bounce back next week against the Atlanta Falcons. But, again, it's week 1. Who knows? Unless it really is concerned to see what the Rams can do to bounce back. I'm sure they'll get mad. Indianapolis Colts, like I said, they tied with the Houston Texans. Matt Ryan's the new quarterback for the Colts. I don't know, dude. I mean, the Colts, they should have beat Houston, but nothing really exciting. Here's another team that should have won, too. The Tennessee Titans lost to the New York Giants. They tried to go for a game-winning field goal at the end, and they missed it. Tennessee is at Buffalo next Monday. Arizona Cardinals, probably one of the more disappointing teams, because I thought Arizona and Kansas City would come down to a field goal, but instead Arizona got killed by Kansas City. And I don't know, Kyler Murray just got that big contract, and he didn't really play like that big contract player. Carolina, with Baker Mayfield, they lost to Cleveland. They need a receiver, they need a new O-line, they need a new defense, they need to fire their head coach. Jacksonville Jaguars, they were beating Washington at a little point during their game, but ultimately lost it in the end. So, I don't know. Jacksonville is there. They're trying to become a good team. They almost beat Washington, but I don't know. I don't think it'll be Jacksonville's year to really improve, but, if they can start getting at least, 4 or 5 wins, we'll see what happens. Dallas, Dak's getting surgery on his hand. They didn't even score a touchdown in the game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Dallas is in trouble. Washington Commanders. Carson Wentz is the quarterback. He came back and beat Jacksonville. Well, I don't know how many more wins he'll have this season. Geno Smith unloaded on the Denver Broncos, and he beat them in his Seahawks starting debut. I can't believe it. Seattle beat Denver, of all teams. I can't believe they did it. We got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers here. They look like to be just as dangerous as they've been. Brady's still here. He came out of retirement for, 40-something days. He retired in the offseason, then came back and said he's going to play another season with Tampa Bay. Philadelphia is looking good. They are definitely contenders for the NFC East this season. Atlanta, even with Marcus Mariota, they still choked a lead and lost by a point against the New Orleans Saints. I think Atlanta can definitely be a wild card team this year if they play smart. I don't know, though. Here's the team that beat them. Jameis Winston is back, and the New Orleans Saints. They got a nice game-winning field goal by Will Lutz, their kicker. See how long the Saints can keep their hot streak. Denver, even with Russell Wilson as their new quarterback, lost by a point, 16-17 in Seattle. Russ ain't cooking this week. And finally, the Las Vegas Raiders. they need something. I mean, yeah, they got Devontae Adams, but they are missing something, whether it's a defensive player or not. But the Raiders need something to click. Derek Carr needs to wake up a little bit, start passing the ball to a couple other receivers besides Adams, and you can see what Vegas can do down the road. So that is my thoughts on all the teams and how they performed for week 1. Week 2, let's go. We got a Thursday night matchup against the Chiefs and the Chargers. That's going to be big because that's, I think, going to determine who's going to win the division this year. I mean, it's only week 2, but if the Chargers can beat the Chiefs are going to have to really keep their eye on their next game against the Chargers when they play next time. But big Thursday night game. And then the Monday night game, it's a doubleheader, actually. It's the Eagles and Vikings and then the Bills and the Titans. Bills home opener against Tennessee. Tennessee beat the Bills last year. Looking for revenge, looking to go 2-0. Go Bills. Let's see what happens.